Good afternoon, Valley City State University. My name is Professor Angela Mirso, and I am here in the Rhodes Science Center for our final artist talk for the fall 2022 academic year. I am proud to introduce Nicole Hurt, an art education major and a digital design minor from Hillsboro, North Dakota. She will be going over her exhibition, Hidden Underneath, and talking about her process in art through drawing, painting, sculpture, so many things. So for everyone tuning in, faculty, staff, students, alumni, friends of the university, sit back, relax, and there will be a QR popping throughout the screen that you can ask questions, but we will be doing the questions and answers at the very end of this talk. So, Nicole?
Hi, everyone. Welcome to my senior capstone exhibit, Artist Talk for Hidden Underneath. My name is Nicole, and I'm a senior here at VCSU. I've just been working on this show and developing it in the last few years here at VCSU. So everyone who is an artist or art education major here has to have a show to graduate instead of like writing a capstone paper. So I compiled this show and I've been working on it. So I just wanted to also take this as an opportunity to take a deeper look at myself. Psychology and art therapy are kind of two topics that have always intrigued me, so I wanted to challenge myself and incorporate my own experiences and emotions from my life into my show. I also wish to destigmatize topics surrounding mental health just because it's always seemed to be pushed aside. Getting people to talk and share their experience about these heavy topics is an important process, and I think we need to start going through this together, not alone. I really have taken an interest in being an advocate for mental health, wellness, and overall helping others. So, a little bit about me. I was raised by two amazing parents, Les and Jane Hurt. We originally were located in Hoople, North Dakota until we relocated to Hillsboro, North Dakota. I have two brothers, Jacob and Brian, and my sister, Jillian. So if you ever catch us together, you'll probably realize we have the exact same personality. My childhood was pretty amazing and consisted mostly of Finding Nemo on repeat or fighting in WWE wrestling matches between us siblings. So moving on to more of my middle school and high school years, this was kind of a harder time in my life just because I lacked kind of confidence in myself, and it can really affect a person a lot. I know now that I was kind of depressed throughout high school, but I just kept pushing through every day. Associating emotions with weakness, I started thinking that if I showed how I was feeling, I was just weak, so I kind of blocked emotions out and kept to myself. Looking back, I had so much going on for me, but depression kind of took all the happy moments and left me with just looking back on hard times. But I was physically healthy, being in 3 sports, had a good family, and great grades and achievements throughout school. But I should have been proud of myself, but I just wasn't because my insecurities and depression just blinded how successful I thought I was. So moving on to more recent me, I finally decided to go to VCSU for art education my senior year of high school. And then I tacked on a digital design minor too. Still, I was very scared and not confident in my skills, but every day, going to college, going to class, this kept growing. So I also reconnected with family back home, and they helped me grow, let loose, and realize that every day is a fresh start. So I actually went to Sitka, Alaska for a summer and worked there. So I was with complete strangers, lived with them, spent all my time with them, and I was able to travel by myself and push my boundaries, which wasn't even a thought in high school. So pretty proud of that. I still do have days where I struggle with accepting who I am, but this is a growing process. Rome was not built in a day. So before jumping straight into my artwork, I have a few influences I would like to share. So these various artists and like paintings have, have helped kind of shape who I am as an artist and has influenced my artwork too. So the first artist I wanted to bring some attention to is Wengichi Mutu. She's a contemporary artist who has a wide variety of mediums from collage, video, sculptures, and performances. I'm really drawn to her collage and installation sculptures, but I admire her work even more because she uses her work to bring attention to gender, race, art history, and personal identity. I really love when artists put meaning behind their work to express themselves. Psychology has also interested me and is one thing that has stuck with me, that is, everyone's life and experiences are all different. Being a Black woman from Kenya is such a different life than I have right now, and it's amazing how she can portray her life through her artwork and give us an insight to her own experiences. Her artwork might look strange or weird, but I think it's just demanding attention and challenges people to open their mind. So, Bradley Hart is an artist who uses bubble wrap and paint to create pixelized portraits of celebrities. He says that an image is being preserved as a memory in an object that is utilized for protection and safeguarding. So pixels store memories, in other words. I really fell in love with this illusion, but we are looking at something like this every time we pick up our phone, but our eyes can't pick apart the individual pixel. Unless you drop a bead of water, you can see the reds, greens, and blues that you're staring at all the time. So looking at these paintings from far away, we cannot see the individual pixels, but a complete image. As we get closer, we can see every dot working together to create one big illusion. Anish Kapoor his artwork really drew me in with mirrors, and I was just kind of trying to figure out ways to make reality seem distorted to the viewer. So mirrors reflect what's happening in real life, but we can change their shape, bend, angle, composition to make a viewer's experience seem somewhat surreal. The next artist is Andelia Andea. She works with sculptures that are mainly influenced from bioluminescence of underwater sea life. A lot of her forms come from nature, what she observes around her, as she creates her glowing installations that create a visual experience for her viewers. I think it's amazing that she uses light to create sculptures that capture our eyes. It brings closer to the idea that art can be anything when artists put meaning behind it. So it doesn't always have to be a hyper-realistic drawing. And then this painting is called The Creation of Adam by Michelangelo, and I'm sure everyone has seen it at least once in their life. So Michelangelo is no doubt a stunning painter, but right now I am not inspired by his realistic figures or his technique here, but I am inspired by this technical term that I fell in love with called an allegory. I think it kind of represents my whole show's theme hidden underneath. I find inspiration with artwork that makes me sit, think, and reflect while trying to relate it to myself, artists, or society. This is exactly what an allegory does. It hides meanings within the painting. And then right here you can see how the allegory is hidden in here. So Michelangelo painted the Sistine Chapel in the span of 4 years, which illustrated different scenes that the Bible contains. So if you didn't see it right away, like here's the allegory, it is a brain. So he did this because he thought the church didn't really accept anyone else's ideas, or they didn't believe in science. So Michelangelo gave a little FU to the church for doing this and hid this within his piece. So moving on to more previous work. This was one I did my freshman year in design class with Angela. So a lot has been developed here, as you can tell. But this just looks really flat to me, and like I'm seeing shading kind of develop. I haven't really had a lot of painting experience before college, so I kind of just gotten into it when I've been here. So So another piece is this one, Death from Above. It is another one freshman year from design class. Yeah, so I'm just kind of expanding my brushwork and seeing what techniques I kind of like to use. So those are my older ones. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about my process as well. I think I like taking like an idea first, a thought, and not think of like the physical aspects of my project, but rather the message I want to deliver. So for this one project, I've noticed that some people make fun of others for like taking medication for their depression or anxiety. A few close family members has anxiety, so they have to cope with this, and they do take medication for this. But they have like unbearable stomach pains, headaches, dizziness, even like panic attacks that interrupt their everyday life. So I just wanted to use this to show people that like this might be their only option, taking medication. And I do encourage like other coping strategies, but ultimately we should not be judging people for taking medication for mental illnesses. Okay, so moving on to more the structure of the project. I started with like 28 paper lanterns, and I reinforced the edges with wire. This took a long time to do. And then I took a piece of wood, drilled some holes in it, and then 50-pound fishing wire is going to be used to hold this cloud up. And I just attached the lanterns with fishing wire and string, and then I put LED lights around it. So, and then here's a video of that. So I put the batting on. So I used polyfill, which is found in like pillows. And then I just kind of tacked it on with hot glue gun, burned myself a little bit more than I wanted to, but it's okay. So I just kind of put this on, and then I would like blend it out together, try to make it act as one piece of batting instead of individual pieces. And then I moved on to the details. So I wanted these pill bottles to be on the cloud and kind of open, so there's going to be some pill rain, and I was having trouble trying to figure out ways to attach this to the cloud just because I knew hot glue wasn't going to cut it for this one. So I just attached a toothpick, and so this would act as like a grapple, and I'd just like put it on the paper lanterns, and then it would just turn so it couldn't get out the hole it went in. So using a similar method, I attached the pill bottles to the cloud just like I did the pill rain, I guess. But I had my sister Jillian and her boyfriend Cody help me string the pills on the fishing line. They did most of the work. I told them what to do. But I just want to thank them so much because that took forever and I couldn't have done it without their help. So I decided to leave them off the cloud until we installed just because they were a pain to try to untangle. So yeah, I would just poke holes in the top and bottom of the pills. I would like disconnect them, and then we'd put one capsule on first, we'd tie a knot, and then we'd enclose it in the knot so the knots aren't visible. And then here we have the final project, Solace Showers. So yeah, it's a light up cloud with colorful pill rain just to try to open up the conversation and close the gaps and misconceptions about taking medicine for anxiety or depression. People might be in so much mental or physical pain, and we should not be judging them for what they cannot control. Okay, so some artworks that helped me shape where my show is right now. So I'll just go through some of them. This was a piece called Hidden Underneath. It's originally the piece that inspired my show. I completed this in painting when I was trying to think of something that could be like a 6-panel collage. So I was like, let's take a look at different mental illnesses that we might not be able to necessarily see in people with the naked eye. So hidden underneath has from the top right to left. So as anxiety, depression, addiction, schizophrenia, eating disorders, and insomnia are all depicted here. And I tried to research all of these and give a just representation using different colors and imagery to kind of evoke the feelings of people who might be going through these. So it kind of educated myself, and I wanted to use my art to educate others too. So this is a piece called Nevermore. It was inspired after I lost a loved one very quickly and unexpectedly. So this kind of shows my kind of allegories working into my artwork. Like there's rose petals on here. They might be a little difficult to see, but there's rose petals that represent love, and then birds usually represent death traditionally. And then I put envelopes on there just to represent kind of all the things I wish I could have said, but they're necessarily, I can't say them anymore. But I thought this was a really good piece for me, kind of just showing like my allegories. And then this one is Perfectionist. So it is acrylic painting, and I took the idea of like Greek statues and how they're perfect, and everything the Greeks did, they try to be perfect with their sculptures and everything like that. So I'm a perfectionist, and it's kind of hard for me sometimes because I don't know when to stop in art. I just keep going. But I kind of in the background had like captions of like what a perfectionist might say, like, oh, this isn't good enough, like what are people gonna think of me if I'm not like perfect? So it's like a double-edged sword, and I just kind of wanted to portray that because I don't think people think of that when they think of perfectionists. So finally, we can go on to the artworks of my show here. So this one is called Reflection of Youth, and my dad told me about this church that has been shut down for a little while. So he said there was a beautiful funerary statue here of a woman. So I was passing by it, and I was like, why not check it out? It's a little bit out of the way. So when I got there, I looked at her first. She just looked frozen in time, like always thinking, and it reminded me a bit about myself because I'm an overthinker, and sometimes it causes a lot of problems for me, but just always thinking of what could happen instead of like living for tomorrow. So I do like a lot of reflecting on my life, and that's okay, but I just don't want to end up like the statue thinking forever. Also, it's kind of about forgiving others, letting go. Like, forgiving is so much more rewarding and like good for your own well-being because you're not using your energy to just despise a person. So yeah, I just didn't want to end up like this woman thinking of like what could have been different if she changed something in the past. So just be assertive and be forgiving for your own mental health. So this one is another uplifting piece for me. You can tell my painting has changed a lot. This was even only a year apart, so I think that's kind of crazy to see my previous pieces from here and then to get here. So let's see. Take My Hand is about reaching out and getting support from others. My whole life I've been really quiet and reserved about my mental health. Now that I'm older and wiser, I realize that, yes, it might be uncomfortable to ask for help, but as it was for me, but I think having at least one person you can turn to for help is much better than bottling everything up and fight your battles by yourself. So this piece is also painted on glass, so it kind of gives the illusion of the hands are reaching out and grabbing you or helping you. Okay, so this one is kind of my take on connecting social media to mental health. And the idea is when you're far away, you just see a portrait of myself, but once you get closer, you can really see the individual pixels. And this is kind of my way of saying, like, you may think you know someone by what they post on social media or how I interact with people on the day to day, but so many people don't know the real me or how far I've come to get to where I am now. Um, so it's just kind of a reminder that you know someone, but people can only tell you what they want you to know. Um, we will never truly know a person, but we can we can try our best to look beyond their image of what they put out in the world and figure out who the real person is behind the pixels. And then there it is from far away. So the last piece of my show that I wanted to talk about with you today has a little friendly reminder behind it, maybe a little more morbid than you wanted, but I think it's something that we should always have in the back of our mind. So death is inevitable. There's no magic potion keeping us going, keeping our heart pumping, or skin looking young. The best we have is Botox and plastic surgery, but sometimes that doesn't even age well. So we just need to live life to the fullest because this is the only one we got. Get up every day and strive to do great things because one day we're going to be a pile of bones or whatever. So whether we like it or not, we don't know how much time we have, so we must make the most out of every moment. And then I thought it'd be interesting to show you guys the process of this, just see how I'd work in sections. And yeah, this took a little bit, but so future plans. I still have one semester of college before I'm graduating. Student teaching and completing the TLC is something I will have to do in the next semester. I am going to Grafton, North Dakota, so I'll be close to family and friends. I'm not completely sure where I'll be headed from there, but I think it'd be fun to maybe move out of state for a little bit and just get some new experiences in life. Ideally, I would love to teach high schoolers, but younger kids is always a fun time too. Really messy.
Yeah.
So thank you for listening to my artist talk. Reception of my show will be held after we wrap up with questions here in the Center of the Fine Arts Gallery at Valley City State University campus.
Yes, thank you, Nicole.
Thank you.
So there'll be a QR code, folks, coming across the bottom of your screen. Use your phones to put in questions for Nicole, and I have one for you already.
Okay.
What advice do you give to students who've never taken an art class and they see your process and they're like, wow, you grew from this in freshman year to now? What advice?
Keep at it. Like, art is a hard thing. I think it's not, a lot of people think that you're like born with this skill or like, oh my God, you just have such a talent for this. I worked hard. I kept at it. I drew things. I threw them away because they didn't look great. You guys should have seen my horses in second grade. They were the exact same horse, but I drew them like 100 times over. But just keep going and like learn from others too. Like we can learn so much from books, but people who've had experience is really important. So just look to others for help and keep at it.
So you're finishing up next semester. You're going to be in Grafton. And you keep on referencing art therapy. Are you thinking maybe after you go teach for a while going into art therapy or?
I'm not completely sure yet. I think it would be interesting. I'd probably have to do a little more research, but I think it would be a good idea to kind of integrate that into the classroom because I know like a lot of students that might be their only safe spot. So I kind of want everyone to like put themselves in their artwork and really express themselves.
Which is important.
Yeah.
So you've taken so many different classes for the art education and the digital design minor. is there a medium you're like, oh, I wish I would have studied this? What is it and why?
Um, Something that we're not offered here. I think I really like sculpture just because I really haven't had a lot of experience in high school, and then coming here, I kind of got to expand. I got to use some power tools, so that was always fun. I think maybe metal art or something like that. I kind of want to like go bigger with materials, but I really like trying to figure out how to build things, and I don't know. I just think it's not a skill that a lot of people have, so it'd be really interesting to learn how to do stuff like that.
Yeah, which is important in this day and age, just being able to know how to build. I mean, just make it life size, make us see a big cloud of pills raining down. That would
Yeah.
be great.
Yeah.
I mean, take us the whole lobby of the CFA would be beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Just because, like, I know for here especially too, like there hasn't been a whole lot of like 3D things. So I was like, I really want to make this cloud, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna do it. So let's sit down and figure it out, and we built it.
Which I think if you had to estimate how many hours just to tell the studio audience, how many hours could you give for just that cloud?
Oh God. Maybe like 50. There was a lot of hours of procrastination though. Yeah. If something intimidates me, I kind of procrastinate and do other things, but I'll eventually make my way around, and yeah.
Yeah.
A couple months later, we got a cloud.
Got a cloud. Like that drawing for the last drawing you showed. How long was that?
That was about 18 hours. Yeah, that skull one.
Yep. So from a question is, what piece is your favorite?
Oh God. I kind of like the hands one, the take my hand. It's just, I think it kind of speaks out to me, and like, that was also one of the first pieces I created for my show, and like right when I painted it, I didn't know that it was gonna be here, so I was like, right after, I was like, this is gonna be like a pretty big statement piece for me, and I think it speaks a lot to my own experience, so I really appreciate like that part of my art too.
Yeah, especially I can remember for folks tuning in that hand piece, you working on it over in McCarthy, and it was just of how you did it because you were kind of working backwards of getting it on the glass, which it's a different process than when using a canvas.
Yeah, it was kind of tough. I think a lot of people who paint on glass usually do the details first, but I kind of went more of the traditional approach and kind of started with like planning out where the highlights and shadows are, and then I kind of just built off of that. So,
and do you have any projects in the works right now, or you want to start like dream ones? It's like, oh, it didn't get to the show, but
I think I made all of my kind of visions possible for this show. I know I wasn't gonna do one of the glass pieces that I have in my show right now, but I worked to the end and got that done. My sister helped me a lot, and I think I just need some time to kind of decompress from this. I mean, the pixel portrait took so many hours. I listened to so many podcasts about that, so I think just a little break would be good, and then I'm ready to get going again.
Sweet. You said you wanted to move out of state for teaching. Any ideas where?
I really like kind of the mountainous areas, like anything with trees. Like when I was in Alaska, just like being up there and being surrounded by that many trees, just the air was so fresh, and I loved every minute of it. So like maybe Montana or Colorado, something like that. But I mean, I'm open to anything.
Open to anything. So you feel, and going back to that other question of with like projects, you feel like with everything in your show, you've talked what you want to right now with the mental health. Would you come back to it later?
I think so. I think a lot of me is, I just want to help people. So if I can help, like just even listening to them, help them process it. And I like helping people through artwork. And I think it's not a huge thing that people know. Like you can get a piece of art and it can kind of evoke these feelings and help you in a way. So if I can do that, I would love to keep doing it.
And so, what topics do you want to bring into the classroom, especially tying back with mental health? And how would you?
Yeah, I think just having every student like put their own identity out, or like, because everyone is so unique, and just letting them express that, I think, just lets them know that we value each and every one of them. So if I can do that, I would love to do that, because sometimes, like when I was in high school, didn't have the best confidence. So if I can let them just be themselves, I would totally let them do that.
The importance of that identity that shapes, especially in today's society, the K through 12 system, and then as you get into higher ed or go out into the workforce, you get all that.
Yeah,
Kind-
it's important, because I think it gets lost sometimes, and we just think of that very last. But I think that should be like what we're proud of. So just put it out there.
Um, what are you hoping people will take away from your show?
I just want them to think more about mental health and like how important it is. Just with the people around you, like you don't know what's going on all the time. That's why it's called Hidden Underneath. So it's just being more aware of how everyone is around you and just being in tune with your own mental health. So
Which is important in this, especially, I mean, you started in 2019 fall, and then regular school year, and then came that spring of 2020 where all
COVID.
COVID, and which you experienced all that fun.
Yeah.
And then you got to experience moving into the CFA, Center for the Arts, which I know you have made your own home up in the drawing and painting studio.
It's been fun.
And the wood shop for building.
Yeah.
Are you going to miss it?
I think so. I was having my last digital design class or graphic design class yesterday. I was like, this is kind of sad. I'm not going to be with my people, and I think the people is what make it. Like, I just love hanging out with all the art students and just having a fun time, like just being laid back, giving advice. It was just a fun experience for me.
That's awesome. And I know you brought up psychology. Do you wish you would have done the psychology minor?
I think, I mean, I could have lived without it, but I've always liked psychology, so I think that would have been fun. But for more classroom perspective, I'm really glad I did digital design, just because it is getting more popular, and just being able to use more technology is going to benefit me and make me more flexible. So.
The thing to be a teacher in all 5 different hats.
Yeah, I know.
Are you ready for that?
I think so. I was kind of intimidated at first, because I was supposed to take a practicum my freshman year, but COVID hit. And I think everything I've done, all my other practicums, we've done an after-school program, has been just helping me like realize this is where I want to be, and I want to help students like find their own voice. So, yeah.
Is there a piece in the gallery right now was your hardest piece that I know you said you did not want to get put in your show, but you've had encouragement from your professors to put in? Which piece was that?
The piece that I was encouraged to put in was probably the mirror piece. I was not gonna actually do that. It's a 4 by 7 foot mirror piece, and it's broken, and I had to use like a lot of tools to create this. It was a lot of measuring, and I laid broken glass in it, and then I put resin on top of it so none of the glass would fall and hurt anybody. I think that was my last project that I really needed to work on. It was very last minute, but I think it turned out great. The installation was very difficult. I don't want to do that again. But it was great. It was a good experience.
Good experience. And about, because I know you said that first piece, that collage, because I remember assigning that piece back in Painting One many, semesters ago. That seems just like yesterday.
Yeah.
Crazy. Would you say from there that was your starting point? Like, this is going to be the theme? And has that helped just when you're developing your capstone, if you had to go back?
Yeah, I think it was. I was in I think art methods, and we were trying to figure out themes for our art show and kind of plan that ahead. And I was like, I really like this piece. I like how I can use it to let other people understand more of like mental illnesses. So I was like, this is kind of something I want to do and like have in my show and kind of stand for.
Mhm.
So
No, which is important. Because you were also in last semester, yes, last semester, the Art 420, which would you say helped you a lot with building your show?
yeah, it allowed me to be more flexible, or so we could make our own projects and just do our own research and explore different materials or projects we'd want to do for our show. So I really liked how open it was, and like we would get feedback from our professors, and I think it helped me shape my show. And I made one of the mirror pieces in that class, so that
Mhm.
kind of like pushed me to keep going.
Keep going. And what advice would you give to the current art students who are just starting out?
Um, Plan your show now. Just try to do as much as you can right now. If you're struggling with anything, ask our professors. They're always willing to help. Like, you guys have been so helpful to me. Ask the upperclassmen. Like, they know so much, so I think you should use them while you got them.
Mhm.
So, um, yeah, just yeah.
No, it's important. And folks who are tuning in, feel free to add any more questions for Nicole. Or if you're waiting till we get back over to the Center for the Fine Art for the Center for the Arts, I understand. She'll take a lot of hard questions. Yeah.
Challenge me.
So, um, is there any place that you haven't traveled to that you would like to travel?
I want to go to Europe.
Mm.
We took art history 1, and I was just absolutely in love with like the architecture over there, like their massive buildings, like old Greek statues, and I would love to go to Europe. Just do the whole thing. Spend a couple months over there. I'll do it.
The whole
Just get the whole experience.
whole experience. Make sure put all your photos on the cloud or something that you don't lose anything.
Yeah.
That's going to be the biggest. I know you said metal. Have you ever thought of glass blowing?
I did.
Ooh.
I've always kind of liked glass blowing, and I've watched a lot of shows on that, and I think it would be really cool to go to one of their studios and just see how it is, and maybe help out a little bit. My dad actually has done stained glass, so I was like, maybe try that too.
Yeah, I just the way of hidden underneath those hidden allegories. I think looking at glass, the next step might be your,
Yeah.
because especially of how you tied the piece with Michelangelo and your other pieces, it's you might want to try glass and some metal.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome.
'Cause
I get bored easily, so I like trying different things.
trying different things. Are you hoping to take within the digital aspects? I know you're hoping to put it into the classroom. Are you also hoping to utilize that of providing here are ways I have shown of dealing with mental health with like through brochures or even with web pages?
Yeah, I think designing like any kind of flyers or anything like that would be useful, just to have like an easy resource for people to have. So I'd be down to design anything like that, and if it helps, I'll do it.
You do it. And are you hoping to still continue paint?
Yeah, I like painting. I'm gonna maybe take a little break, just decompress a little bit. But yeah, I think the semester of drawing too, I really got into charcoal, so I think I kind of want to take that route a little bit too, see how far I can push it.
Yeah, I know that one piece that's sitting in the painting drawing studio of the large face is very interesting. I know it's not in your show, but it's a very charcoal powder might be your next route.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you don't know what it looks like, it's just kind of more of a gestural portrait, and there's not a ton of facial features that are very defined, but it's just very loose and gestural.
Yeah, I could see you doing a lot of large format pieces.
Yeah. I was always kind of intimidated by smaller pieces, but I think as like I've grown, I do like having bigger pieces, and just having it be a statement is something I like.
Which is important. I think the only advice I could give as your professor, storage
Yeah.
is always a problem.
Yeah. Frame it before it gets all smeared.
Frame it, or being able to have large newsprint rolls and a lot of spray fixative was very important.
Yeah.
Are you hoping to take of like the charcoal? I know you're hoping with high school students, and I know you said with the younger age, it's like, oh, this could be messier. If you had the chance, what technique would you love to share to those ages? Like, we'll just go to high school. Like, what technique you have learned that you would share back?
I would love to show everyone the grid process of drawing. I love using a grid because I like, if I just draw things, like, I feel like they're very unproportional. So, like, using a grid, and then you can just focus on a small section, like, that helped me so much. Like, I love grids. I don't draw really a lot without them, because it just makes me feel more secure. And, like, the perfectionist part of me is, like, I'm going to be working on the very simple outline for hours and not get to the actual part of the piece that I want to work hard on.
Yep, which I've seen many hours of you working from drawing 1, painting 1, painting 2, drawing 2, all your classes about, and contemporary art history. Yeah.
It's been fun.
Oh, it's been a barrel fun, and you don't have to worry about walking across the stage for another semester.
Yeah, take a little break, work with some kids. It'll be fun.
But you'll be back.
Yeah, I'll be back.
You have to come back.
Yep.
For all that fun. So it looks like no other questions. They probably are holding them for the reception, which I get. Do you have any last comments, thanks you want to give, Nicole, before we...
I just want to thank all my friends, family who've supported me throughout these years. My sister so much, and her boyfriend Cody so much for helping me. They helped set up my show, like, have done all the little tedious work, so I really appreciate it. And yeah, thanks for this campus for letting me grow into who I am today right now. So I'm really thankful for everyone around me.
You're welcome, Nicole, and we will miss you, and including Lakin and Hannah, who were on before. And I want to make sure to give a thanks to the live stream team, Mitchell Silkman, and also to the marketing department who helped put those flyers together, Kayla, Tammy Jo. And I will also say thank you to Paula Larson, because thank you for just making sure we're keeping on track and on time, because there's a lot of things that go on in the Center for the Arts, and she makes sure we're all on a tight schedule. So thank you very much. And thank you to everybody who is tuning in, whether you are an alum, a faculty, a staff, student, or someone who is potentially wanting to come here, which we hope to see you here soon. We hope you enjoyed this talk. Enjoy, folks. Finals next week. Make sure to go to commencement, see Nicole's reception at 3 o'clock today. Make sure you come over. There's hot cider and cookies. There's food. You should come over. It's a good way to celebrate the ending of the semester. And then we hope to see you back in January for a whole new set of artist talks, visiting artists, high school exhibition, 2 digital design seniors, our juried art exhibition, and a traveling exhibition. There's a lot coming up, so stay tuned. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram. Enjoy your weekend, Vikings, and we will see you soon. Thank you.